Hello. Let's see if this starts in time. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Outside Shots. I'm Saul Bookman. This is EJ Eddie Johnson. Hello. You are straight on the money, as usual. We did not start on time.
Who said that?
Hello did.
Just because his name Hello.
People starting to realize that, you know,
Just because
there's a major problem.
Hello, you got anything else to do? I mean, we're only like 3 minutes late.
It's only 3 minutes.
What do you have to do? I mean, what were you doing? What was bothering Hello so much that if we came on 3 minutes late, 4 minutes, that it elicited you to say that? Like, if you had a date walk into your house and she's 4 minutes late, but she's looking like Halle Berry. Is that the first thing you're going to say? Oh, you're 4 minutes late. Or you're going to say, wow. Right? What would you say, Saul? You going to say you're 4 minutes late and just ruin the whole encounter?
Ask anybody here what I would say.
That's ridiculous. That's the problem.
Get your ass here on time, man.
Oh, really?
Start the clock 10 minutes early.
And she walked in looking like Halle Berry?
I mean, hey, man, time is time. My time is precious.
Beautiful, nice, tight outfit on just for you. She walk in the house.
I don't care.
And you just,
I don't care.
She walk in, nothing but a coat.
I'm just, what?
Say she got a coat on.
It doesn't matter.
And it looks weird because it's 80 degrees outside.
Yokoslav Perpipich says it perfectly. You ain't Halle Berry, bro.
I know that. That's the
point.
So
this is irrelevant.
But because it should make you feel good.
No.
To be able to sit next to me and be able to really have a conversation about basketball. Did you sleep last night knowing that we were going to talk?
I have two other shows back to back, so the more you're late, the less time we have to talk about such things. And that's a problem.
Shows. I care about me.
Oh my gosh! What time's your Sirius satellite show start? 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We should make this show start at 12 o'clock.
I turn it
12:15. Watch him show up 5-10 minutes early for that.
And if I show up late, what's gonna happen?
You're gonna be late for your show.
And what's gonna happen?
I don't know.
They gonna get a great show.
Oh my gosh! All right. Anyway.
Hello. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today. We got a lot to get into. Obviously. Coach Bud, everybody keeps saying it's Budenholzer or is it Budenholzer? I've heard it's Budenholzer. People around Mike say that it's Budenholzer, so we'll call him Budenholzer. That's fine. It makes sense. He's now the new head coach of the Phoenix Suns. 5 years.
You don't know a last name, just say the first name.
Yeah, okay. Coach Mike.
I'm like Wembanyama. I mean, for the first month, I'm like, Wemby.
Yeah.
Antetokounmpo, I would say that. Now, some people pronounce his last name different.
Antetokounmpo.
Well, but it's both ways, and he's never gone public to say which way.
It's like the blue, is the dress blue and black, or is it white and gold? By the way, did you know that the guy that put that post out there actually got convicted of murder?
Really?
Random fact. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, Coach Budenholzer, 5-year, $50 million deal to replace Frank Vogel, who lasted one season with the Phoenix Suns.
He walked away with about 30.
Yeah. He ain't mad.
What's wrong with me? Why did I get into TV? What was wrong with me?
There's still time, EJ.
I was loving my kids. I was like, I'm going to stay home with the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was a bad choice. Obviously, the Suns had a lot of issues this year in terms of consistency, just being disconnected across the board. What is your first impression of Mike Budenholzer coming in and trying to fix this whole thing? And do you believe he can do it? And do you believe that he's going to be able to right a lot of the wrongs that happened from a season ago?
Well, look, he gets another chance. Did he earn it? Yes. Won a title. Matter of fact, at our expense. Some of his adjustments hurt us in that finals, without a doubt, after being down 0-2. He's been criticized over the years of being really stubborn in his coaching philosophy and how he did things. But all coaches are. If you look at the playoffs this year right now, people, even though Tom Thibodeau has done a marvelous job for New York, what are people complaining about? He's playing them what?
Too
many minutes.
Yeah.
You look at Rick Carlisle, whose team is in the second round. Nobody even picked Indiana to be as far as they were. And Rick Carlisle's done a tremendous job. But why are people getting on Rick Carlisle today?
Because I don't know why.
Because he keeps putting my boy Nembhard on Brunson, right. And he getting lit up.
Yeah.
And McConnell's out there playing well, and he's short with his minutes. So a coach is always going to go through something, right? Frank Vogel went through it, and obviously it cost him his job. Bud went through it in Milwaukee. It cost him his job. So now he gets another opportunity. And the great thing I like about Thibodeau, if you remember, when Thibodeau was in Chicago, he was always up screaming, outplays, always. And to me, I thought it cut down the rhythm of the game for the Bulls at that point in time, and even in Minnesota. And I thought those two reasons cost him his job. He was too controlling.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see him in New York, he don't even call any plays.
Yeah.
He's just standing up, hollering out the defense or whatever, and he's very quiet. So my point is, he learned his lesson. Mm-hmm. And you do learn as a coach from job to job. You do learn maybe what cost you and what didn't. Monty Williams is going through that in Detroit. He was humbled this year, obviously, with the struggles that they had. But, every coach has to change from job to job. Expectations, they're going to basically critique you. Mm-hmm. Why did you get fired here? And they'll look at stuff in the interview and tell you, and then, okay, so what are you going to do now? So he's had an opportunity to watch the Suns team, without a doubt. And I think, his philosophy on certain things, especially defensively, is good. And obviously, I think he'll understand what was the struggles for the Suns this past year in regards to our big three. And I think he'll be fine. I think he's happy to be back home.
Yeah.
So that's always good to be back in your environment. I think Frank Vogel struggled a little bit by his family being in L.A. and him being here. Something to say to that. Not being critical of Vogel and saying it, it's just a natural fact.
Yeah.
And so I like a lot of those things, and hopefully it will work out to the highest level.
Maybe. We'll see. I like the hire. I will say I didn't think he wouldn't have been my first choice, but again, like without knowing how interviews go and what things were really happening behind the scenes, it's hard to make that assumption that, this isn't going to work or it is going to work. But what I do know is that he's very good on the offensive side of the ball. I think there was a gross miscalculation in thinking that Frank Vogel was going to be able to change the Suns on the defensive side while Kevin Young was going to, continue or even elevate what the Suns were doing on the offensive side. I thought there was a lot of disconnectivity. And even with that being said, they still won 49 games. And so I know there's a lot of people like, well, it's not fair, to fire Frank Vogel, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like it was just an X's and O's thing. I think you have to take the totality of who that person is and what he brings to the table. And the one constant that I felt like was a theme was that he just was not getting the ear or the respect of the players to the degree that they needed in that organization. Mike Budenholzer is going to come in, and I don't know if that's a foregone conclusion either, but I will say this. He has won a title, so that gives you a little bit of credibility right there. In 10 seasons in the NBA as a head coach, both in Atlanta and in Milwaukee, he's had an outstanding record. His teams have always thrived in the regular season. They've always been good teams, always been a top 3 or 4 team in said conference. So it's a promising hire. He's coming back home to coach a team that he grew up watching and loving in the Suns. So I think that's great. You want to root for a guy like Mike Budenholzer because he is kind of your native son. So that's fantastic. I am very interested to see the relationship building that starts now with him. Obviously, we saw him at the Combine the other day. talking to JJ and looking over his shoulder at whatever it was that JJ was looking at on his phone. But, he's out there recruiting or scouting players, and I'm excited to see what his philosophy is going to be outside of just X's and O's.
It's easy to have success at somebody else's expense. And that's just the nature of coaching, nature of actually being in any position, whether it's in corporate America, whether it's on a basketball team, whether it's coaching. Just case in point, you're sitting on the bench as a player and you see a guy out there doing some of the wrong things and the coach is complaining. Guess what? When he calls your name, what are you going to do? You're not going to duplicate what that guy just did.
Nope.
And as a coach, it's the same thing. So Bud knows exactly. Obviously, one went south for Frank Vogel, supposedly, and he's going to make sure that he puts a Band-Aid on it, right?
Yeah.
The best situation I can ever give people and give them that example is Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr took over from Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was the catapult for Golden State. He got those guys as young players, put it in their head that they had the best backcourt in the game. Put it in their head, gave them their confidence. And they went from, I think, 28 wins to almost 50-something wins under Mark Jackson. Okay? Well, Mark Jackson, obviously, to some people's minds in that situation he was in that front office, they didn't like some of the things, and it cost him his job. In comes Steve Kerr, who had a chance to either take the New York job that Phil Jackson was trying to hire him for, right after letting go of Derek Fisher, or come to a ready-made team like Golden State. He went to Golden State, and look what's happened. He's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. He's coaching, USA basketball. He's won multiple championships, and Mark Jackson had a lot to do with that. He got it started. If he had disrupted and just poisoned those guys before Steve got them, there's no telling what Steve would have inherited.
Sure.
So Steve took it, saw what Mark Jackson didn't do in the eyes of the people that got rid of him, and he went the opposite way. He built on it, and all of a sudden, he's looked at as one of the best coaches in the league. So that's what happens, and I'm sure Bud's going to do that. Obviously, he knows. He knows what the frustration was last year. He knows that supposedly some players weren't getting along with Frank Vogel. He knows all these things. So why come in and duplicate that? He's obviously going to address that, put a Band-Aid on it, and try to get on the right rhythm with this basketball club.
Well, let's hope so, because I'm already exhausted from this summer. I'm exhausted from all the BS talk. I'm exhausted from all the rumors. I'm exhausted from all the speculation about X player or this player. Well, oh my God, it's so damn exhausting. At the beginning of this week, it started already, and by the mouth of the East, I would just say that, in New York, out there with ESPN, one Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
Kevin Durant in Phoenix is a problem. It is a problem. We don't see it because the stats are there. Him and Booker average 27 points per game and what have you. But they say Kevin Durant is never happy. They say that he went more than a month without even talking to the head coach. They say that he doesn't look happy there. And all he wants to do is play when the game starts and tip-off time arrives. But when it comes to ingratiating yourself with your teammates and getting along with everybody and stuff like that, he just lives in his own world. He's not hated. He's not despised. He's not doing anything negative. He's not being somebody that's two-faced and behind people back doing stuff. No, that's not who Kevin Durant is. But keeping to himself. Why does that matter? It's similar to what he was doing in Golden State before he ultimately departed, which is what was driving Draymond Green crazy, which is why they ultimately got into it on the court in that Clippers game and what have you. Because you hear stuff, you hear about the level of unhappiness, et cetera, and you get tired of it because when you don't want to talk and when you don't want to answer questions, you don't want to lead in a very visible way, well, that forces others.
So I very much wanted to hear your opinion on this, because I know you've been in so many locker rooms, you've dealt with so many different personalities, and both as a player and also as a broadcaster, you have a lot of relationships around the league, and not every single player is going to be Mr. Rah-Rah on the court or going to be like the epitome of what leadership should be. When you hear what Stephen A. Smith says, and he refers to they say, which is just the most just casual comment to be throwing out there and really trying to make KD the spotlight once again for really nothing. What is your take on what Stephen A. Smith said?
I disagree with Stephen A. I truly do, because, like, I go out and speak to corporations all the time, and I just try to let the employees know it's okay to be a follower. It's okay. It truly is okay. All that noise going on over there while I'm talking. Go over there and fight somebody. It's okay.
You all right, Eric?
I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah, I just hit my elbow over here. I was too entranced with what
Eric.
Eddie was saying. I didn't see what I was doing.
I'm just kidding with you. You're tremendous, man. They're followers, Saul, and they're leaders. Everybody can't be a leader. When everybody wants to be a leader, it's civil war. Like, it's a problem. No, it's followers and leaders. No matter where you stand, no matter, like, the great Achilles, I'll get mythical with you. The great Achilles, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a leader, so to speak. I mean, he was a warrior. Like, he just went out there and he kicked butt.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me. But I'm out in front. But that led that way. But he was kind of quiet as he was depicted, right? So, but you'd want to go to war with him. Like, you'd go to a war and you would like, we got Achilles with us. Like, you feel confident. That's KD. Like, you go to the freaking game, what do you know is going to happen? The dude's going to ball.
Okay.
He's going to ball. He loves to ball. He's going to do it every night. He did it every night this year. He showed up every night this year. 70-something games. No one thought he would play that much. He played more than two players younger than him, in Bill and Devin. He showed up and he balled out every night. I'd go to war with a dude like that because I can enhance his other deficiencies. No one is perfect. If there's nothing wrong with you, it's something damn wrong with you. It is no perfection in life, okay? One man in my mind, one man was only perfect, okay? No matter where you stand on that subject, okay? So for me, what I would do as a teammate, I would be looking at KD and he's a lot like, to be honest with you, he's a lot like Tom Chambers.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Oh, he is. Because Tom Chambers was stoic.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Chambers came to ball. Tom Chambers was a little surly at times. Like, he would go and not talk to us or whatever. He'd show up to practice and he wouldn't be moody, but he'd just be quiet. I didn't care. You know what I did? I elicited excitement in him. I'd go up to him and say stuff to him. I wouldn't let him be quiet with me. You could bring him on, we could bring him on the show, he'll tell you. I start conversations with him. We would get him to come back and play cards with us. Like, it's a way, because we knew we had to have that dude. Like, I didn't care if he showed up surly. I didn't care if he didn't talk to Cotton. I didn't care. Just show up, man. Do your job. Be a supportive teammate when you can. And you know what? I'll balance the rest. Like KJ on that team, balance the rest. And let Tom be Tom. My thing is, people want to always say the best player always has to be the leader. That's not true. The best player is not always the leader. The best player is normally, let me say this right, a little bit off. Like in life, name all the great people in the history of this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Benjamin Franklin, that was a weird dude, man. Come on, man. This dude talking about stick something into a socket.
He just flew a kite into the lightning storm.
What about, but I'm just saying, but eventually what I'm saying is how you work electricity. What about the Wright brothers?
Yeah, a flight.
Who's the first damn person that got on the plane, dude? Like, oh, this is an airplane. Okay.
Wait, also Benjamin Franklin and a light bulb? Wasn't that Thomas Edison?
It's Thomas Edison. I'm sorry. Benjamin Franklin is that's my bad. My bad.
He was the kite.
I was
with
like,
the
wait,
key
He's the
Yeah.
kite.
and
He's the
light.
kite guy. Yeah, Thomas Edison.
I will say
So-
I'm not expecting a KD Thomas Edison comparison this
Yeah,
morning.
Thomas
but I'm here
Edison.
for it,
No,
man. I'm
Thomas.
here
We
for
all
it.
make see. If it ain't nothing wrong with you, it's something wrong with you. It's never perfection. You always can make a mistake. You always can be different. And that's a life lesson for all of us that's out there listening to us right now.
man.
He's different. He's strange. So, I mean, understand that. You can make mistakes. I just made a historical mistake. All right? But again, the Wright brothers with what they did. Like, every great person was looked at as different. They went to a different tune. Think about the great players in the history of this game. Larry Bird went to a different tune. French Hick,
Yeah, he
right?
did.
I mean,
French Lick, yeah.
country dude from Indiana, different dude. Kareem.
Mhm.
Kareem ain't talked to nobody.
True.
Look, Kareem didn't talk to, I spoke to Kareem. He looked at me like I was an alien. Didn't talk to anybody. I would have loved to play with him. Love to. Magic, he order your own. You go out to dinner with Magic, he'd order your meal. You just had to get used to it.
I believe it.
But
Yeah.
I'd play with him. I hate that I didn't. Like MJ. MJ didn't talk to people. MJ would test veterans in practice and get them to the point of tears
Yeah.
to test them. I'm just making a point.
Okay.
I'm giving you different deals, and we'll go back to the leadership. That's what I'm trying to get you to get to. Okay, he would do that, and I'm talking about a very good veteran that played well in this league. MJ rode him so hard that they said the dude just gave in to tears,
Mhm.
and they had to cut him. Like, that was his way. Okay, he was just like that. My point is, the only thing I judged them on is what they did on the court. And then a team is made up of 15 people. Those other guys have responsibilities, and they need to seize what they need to add to make the team better. So when you talk about, well, KD didn't talk to Vogel. Now, my thing is, if he didn't, then somebody on that team has to talk to him. Like, it shouldn't be, somebody has to put a Band-Aid on it and make it work better. Like, just don't put it on him and don't put it on Vogel, if that was the case. But ultimately, man, that's KD, man. If you watched, I've been watching KD since AAU.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, he don't probably even remember this, but I actually coached against him in AAU. I fell in love watching this dude. I saw him drive full court, and I saw him elevate on 3 dudes in the paint and just rammed it down on them. I was like, that dude is going to be an all-time great. Like, my son was scared to death if he had to play him. And I think if we had won the next game, we would have played him. Okay? Yeah. So I know, I've watched this guy, and his demeanor has always been the same.
Yeah.
Always. So when people try to nitpick and find stuff like Stephen A. said, well, I heard he didn't talk to anybody, but he showed up. I'd rather the dude not talk to me than a dude didn't show up, okay, and then try to ball. Would I like it to be better? Yes. Yes. But if it's not there, you don't just all of a sudden turn on him and rip him and then assume he wants this, he wants that, if he didn't say it. That's why I push back on Stephen A. I know he has little sources out there, but it's not KD.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be careful with that. I got sources. But if it's not the person telling you, you just can't run with stuff like that. So that's how I view it, man. Like, it's a team, man. The guys on the team. Devin has to be better with leadership then. Bradley has to be better. 2 against 1. Like, find a way to get KD ramped up. Find a way to bring that out of him. Like, that's how you do it, man. And so that individual stuff, man, I'm not buying. Plus, you don't even talk to coaches that much. Shit, I went 2 weeks. I ain't talked to George Karl because he took me out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I walked past him too. And he knew I wasn't going to talk to him after that. I walked past him. I said, "You bald-headed mother." I did. I'm not kidding you. I walked past him, man. He took me out. I was hot, Saul.
I'm
I was
sure you
playing
were.
well. I said, "Why you take me out the game?" Well, yeah, you bald-headed. And guess what I didn't do the next day?
Play.
Didn't show up to practice.
Oh.
First time I ever did that. I
And-
was that hot at him.
And then what happened?
He came into the locker room. I was back there lifting weights the next day. He knew I'd be in the weight room because I lived in the weight room. I lived in the weight
This
room,
guy.
bro.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, I did. So he came in. He said, "Well, you just don't show up to practice?" And I turned and looked at him. I said, "Oh, you just don't leave me in?" He laughed and turned around. He said, "I should find you." I said, "Go ahead." He said, "I ain't finding you." I said, "Okay." And that was it. Like, I mean, so yeah, calm down.
I mean, okay. That was quite the riff. KD is complex. He's complex. I know, I do know that our people have it from a very good source that, everything Stephen A. Smith said is bullshit. So there is that. I think KD, the conundrum with KD is the expectation from the public and even other former players or current players of ability meeting status.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have the ability like KD and the status of KD, then the expectation is that you are going to be an elite player / leader.
Mm-hmm.
And KD has never been that type of vocal leader or demonstrative leader in front of the public the way people would like to see. He's never been that guy. Like you said,
Right.
He's never been that guy. Behind the scenes, I don't know what KD does. I know that he enjoys his teammates. I do know that he likes the process of working on your game. He loves ball. Like, he's a hoop head. Like, that's through and through, that's what he is. But the problem is when you are put into a situation like the Suns were this year, where it looks like everything is dysfunctional, that's when these narratives really start to explode, because nothing's going right, or at least not as right as the expectations are supposed to be, and they want somebody to pick it up. And when they don't feel like they see that, again, visual confirmation, when they don't see that, they assume the worst. They assume that that's not happening. They assume that KD's checked out, or KD's not doing this, or KD's not doing that, when that might not necessarily be the case. And it's too hard for us that are not behind those scenes to see and understand what is really being said and done, and how KD operates on a day-to-day basis. It's all assumptions. It's all assumptions. And it's all, I just don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, what I do care about is, did we win the game? No? Okay. Did we get swept? Yes, we got swept. Like, why didn't anybody step up? And like, the thing with KD is, and Devin Booker, I'll say both of them, when things are going wrong, who's going to put the team on their back and will this team to victory?
Yeah.
And I think there was times this year where you felt like neither one of them did to that degree. And when you got to the playoffs, that kind of exemplified that. And that's frustrating for a lot of fans to have to deal with.
Yeah, the thing that I would love for any player to do, and if I had a conversation with KD, I would tell him this. And this is something that I learned. Like I said, I was taught by a guy, Rich Kelly. You all can look him up. He went to Stanford, played in the league maybe about 10, 12 years. And Eddie will tell you, growing up in the inner city of Chicago, I didn't have many interactions with whites at all. I lived in the inner city of Chicago. And so I was pretty much raised and mentored by African Americans around me until I got to high school. My high school counselor was a white lady that still, she's like my second mom right now. Literally like my second mom. And she taught me really to work harder in school and to go after my education because she said athletics is not guaranteed. And I went forward with that, and I love her to death. Talk to her a couple of times a week. I watch over her because her husband passed away a number of years ago, and she's actually like my second mom. Rich Kelly took me and taught me leadership. He truly did. And the only thing that I would say to anybody, KD and any of these guys, because this is a quiet society that we live in now. Mm-hmm. It's a quiet society that's into the phone. These players, these individuals are different than how we were in the past, and I have to be careful with this. But I would just tell any of these guys just to stare and figure your teammates out. And what I mean by that, and what I was taught, is get to know your teammates. And Cotton Fitzsimmons taught me this as well because he was like this. Cotton knew everybody past who you were. Cotton would come up to me and say, "Hey, how's your mom doing? How's Doris doing?" He would know my mom's name. Mm-hmm. You know, if I had a significant other, and I did at the time, he'd come back and say, "Well, how's Joy doing?" You know, it was my girlfriend at the time. And he'd be like, he was really in tune with your family. And what I would say to KD, Devin, Bradley, Beal, if you want to get those guys to do what you need them to do to enhance you and protect you, is to get to know them past them. Get to know their significant other, their kids, their families. Because what happens when you do that and you're checking in and saying, "Hey, man, how's your mom doing?" Blah, blah, blah. You go up and speak to their mom after a game when you come out of the locker room. You know what that does? What that does is now when you're on the court with them and you really want to get on their butt or their ass, I won't curse as much as Saul does on this show, you know what happens? They will receive it and they'll go forward with it. I am telling you, it works. It works. And I would only say that to them. Just get to know your teammates, man. I would question how deeply our team and guys around the league actually really know their teammates. And the teams that win and have a lot of success, those are the ones that do. They have family outings, they hang out together, they give parties together, they know each other's birthdays, all of that. Man, that's part of it. And that's the only thing that I would tell any guys that play right now is that it's not just all about you. It's about the people that's around you, man. And hopefully they'll do that this year. And hopefully Bud will bring that kind of vibe to this team.
Somebody needs to, because that's again, we can go on and on about where I feel like the Suns are right now as an organization, all the way from the top to the bottom, and in some of the areas being disconnected the way they were. And that's part of the issue. Like, you do got to know what everybody's about. You got to know the DNA of people. And I don't think that this franchise right now is at that level. And it's going to take some work, and you can get some work done to your psyche, to yourself, to your spirit by going to the great people at OG's and getting yourself some nice edibles. Put your hand away. Some great edibles.
Why don't you give me one on live?
We got some in the back room.
No, I want you to serve it to me on the podcast.
Eric, will you go into Max's
Not
office
today.
in the cabinet?
Not today.
Grab the bag of
Not
OGs.
today.
Because I am done with this. Go get it. I got you. We got the great OGs. They got the little samples. That's what EJ needs to start off with. Little 3 milligram samples that will get you
3 milligrams. So why you have to go low? Because if you go too high too soon, you all over the place.
Listen, man, I will tell you this. My first experience with an edible was a cookie, and it was a 100 milligram cookie. Okay, no, wait. I didn't eat the whole thing, but my wife and my best friend were eating, and they were like, "Hey, we left you a slice." I was like, "Cool," but I didn't know, and I took a quarter of the cookie, so 25 milligrams, and it was the first time I had ever done anything like that. And you ever watch the movie Get Out?
Yeah.
Remember when he went into the sunken place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where I fucking felt like I was there for like 4 hours. Like I was just lost in space.
You just sat on the chair.
It was not fun. I swear.
It wasn't fun. Why wasn't it fun?
I swear I sunk into that chair.
Why wasn't it fun?
Because, man, like I was tripping. Look at this. Now we got some sativas. Orange creamsicle. You can get yourself some today. There you go, Eddie. Take it easy. Don't go crazy. But he's got his first bag of OGs. OG's the best edible in the game. Go to ogsbrands.com. Find the closest dispensary. And remember, you must be 21 and over. He's got the sativas. You can get the indicas, the RSOs, the Happy Balance gummies. And you could also get the Sleepy Time gummies, which are fantastic. So, and then in addition to that,
his OG.
there you go. The
OG. I'm an OG.
The OG got his OGs.
You know what? I'm going to sue them.
They're our sponsor, Eddie.
But they at least they did OGs. See, they didn't just leave the OG.
Now, don't sue them. I see a partnership
That's what I'm
opportunity
saying,
with you,
man.
Eddie. The OG
The
sponsoring
original
the
OG.
OGs.
You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
The EJOGs. It's got a ring to it.
Don't piss people off. Embrace them.
I'm not pissing them off until I just saw the G's. See, when you would say OG, I didn't know it was G's.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, geez.
Because I'm an OG.
I got you. No, I got you. You can go to Four Peaks after you have some OGs, I guess. Grab some food
Jeez. People
at
rip,
the 8th Street, at the 8th Street Pub. They got fantastic food. They also have the best craft beer in the state. Kill Lifter, your Sun's Brew, your Wild Wheats,
Go
your Peach
parasailing
Ale.
after that.
They got the green tea ale back as well. It's seasonal. It's fantastic. Check it out. Go to Four Peaks Brew. Follow them on social at Four Peaks Brew on both
I
Instagram
love
and
beer.
Twitter.
I love it. Is that like a beer? It's like,
Is Four Peaks a beer?
yeah.
Did you think we were fucking talking about coffee this whole time or something?
No.
There are little cans on the screen,
It's
Eddie.
like an ale. I mean, I know you. No, I'm just like I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
Kill
the
Lift-
flavor.
so
See,
Kill
there
Lifter-
you go. See,
Kill
You need to
Lifter,
apologize.
Kill Lifter is a
See?
red ale.
Okay.
Sun's Brew is more of just like
Apologize. See, there you
no,
go.
no, that wasn't the question.
I mean,
We've
like
been doing this for over a year. You should know what this is
I
all
don't
about.
drink beer
You just
anymore.
said
I
you
used
love
to.
beer.
I do, but I stopped drinking. I had to look. Beer was, it was kind of like I had to get it down. Now that I'm getting down to about 233,
Well, look at this.
let me check it out.
Look at this.
Oh, it's
Beautiful Sun's Brew.
this is cold too.
Oh, it's always nice and cold and
Man, that's
refreshing.
nice.
Check out that Sun's Brew. Go to
I have to try this.
Four Peaks.
4 Peaks.
Go to Four Peaks Brew. Follow them on social. Remember, you must
Hey.
be over the age of 21 to enjoy as well.
Four
Enjoy
Peaks.
responsibly.
4 Peaks. I'm looking for the commercial. All right, next year, promoting the Suns. All right, I got you. All right, there we go.
All
we
right.
got OGs and we got 4 Peaks.
You got set up today. Let's talk about the playoffs. We got a couple things we wanted to address. Obviously, I heard you yesterday on your Sirius satellite radio show talking about the misconception of Rudy Gobert versus Jokic and how people are torching Gobert about his defense against Jokic. But listen, man, nobody was stopping Jokic, and Jokic does that to everybody. I thought actually, in your guy Justin Termini had a great stat that Jokic has been shooting less than 30% in this series until that game, and now he obviously in Game 5 he went off and he went crazy. So I don't understand why Gobert gets a lot of the flack that he did, especially in this regard. But I know you had some opinions on that as well.
Man, I mean, when you play, I don't know how many times you got hot, but when you probably thought you were hot wearing some tight ass shorts. But my point is,
No, man, listen, man, this is late 90s, early 2000s. You know how we wore those shorts. They weren't tight. They were like past your knees.
In the 80s, we wore our shorts.
I know, man.
Okay.
You guys were showing
There you go.
everything. It
But
was
anyway,
not appealing.
you know what I mean. You got hot once or
Sure.
twice in your life.
Yeah.
Did it matter who was guarding you?
No.
You was like hypnotized, right?
Yeah.
You were in the zone.
Yeah, like you it was almost like an out of body experience.
Marcus Morris Sr. got off the bench last night in
He went
Cleveland,
crazy.
and he
he went
went
crazy.
nuts.
Yeah.
Now, if they had to play another game, you think he could duplicate that?
Nope.
Like, it's just out of body experience. You get hot as heck, and things just go. Gafford earlier this year, he went 20-something shots, didn't miss a basket.
Mhm.
Like, it just happens. Like, it's been many a times that I got hot like that offensively because I shot a lot, so I'm not going at Saul. But I mean, I didn't care who guarded me. Michael Cooper, Dennis Rodman, MJ, Scotty. Oh, I got video. You don't believe it. EJ wearing them out. All right? I just was in a rhythm. And no matter what they did defensively and how great defensively they were, they couldn't stop it. This is how it goes. Tony Delk one time had 50 in the Suns uniform.
Yeah. Against the
You
Kings.
you don't think they weren't trying to stop? Like, and Jokic is always good offensively, don't get me wrong. But he'll take that third quarter the other night and he'll say, that was my best third quarter I ever had. Up until that point, he was 11 of 28 against Rudy Gobert. Then when he gets hot and wears them out, everybody wants to get on Rudy Gobert. Stop. Stop, man. Yeah, get on him for the fact that he didn't stop him. Like, he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. You're supposed to be better than everybody defensively. So you, over the course of a 48-minute game, you need to figure out something to throw him off kilter. Okay, no problem there. He didn't do it. But stop with this getting on him because it's an enviousness. It's an enviousness by the American ball player. And I'm an American ball player to the European ball player. Okay? That's all it is. Okay? It's nothing past that. Zero past that. American ball players have a lot of respect for any ball player from any walk of life. But it's something right now that in America that the European player, when they come up short or they struggle, they're going to get a lot of criticism, not from the media per se, but they're going to get it from the American ball player. And I don't understand why. If you have a problem with their fundamentals and the way that they've gotten ahead because they're fundamentally correct, then get your ass away from AAU and playing 8 games in a weekend, and you got some trainer out there that's got you doing drills where you look like you freaking handicapped and you'll never do it in a game, okay? And you got these yes men all around you. That's all they are, yes men, because why? They feel like they can get a piece of that 4% that your agent is going to get when you get there, okay? So they're never going to tell you anything the right way, all right? And you're going to create all these weird drills to look different from the other trainers. So now you can be, oh man, that guy's got some stuff. Oh, look what he does. Tell you something, basketball is simple. It's a ball, it's a court, okay? You get to your spots where you can do damage, and however you get to those spots, as long as you get to that spot to do damage, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. Mm-hmm. You don't have to, he crossed him over. Oh, he shook. So what? That don't count. Did they ever count for point?
No, never.
Never. It's the ball in the basket. That's what counts. Jokic is as basic as you can be. Huh? He's so basic, it embarrasses the word basic. Oh, you want to push me left? I'll go left. Oh, you going to stop my jump? Shoot a hook. Or I'll go under you. I mean, like, whatever, his toolbox is immense. Meaning, like, Saul's toolbox was probably A+. Mine, A, B, C, D, E. Might have gotten to F. Okay? All right? LeBron's most of the doggone alphabet. Right? Bird, most of the alphabet. Jokic, most of the alphabet. Mm-hmm. He's got a toolbox, man. Like, you gonna force me here? I go here. I go there. I go there. I go there. I mean, he's got all that. Luka's got it. Right? Devin has a toolbox. KD has a toolbox. But that's all it is. And then you think Kyrie has an unbelievable toolbox. See the left-handed hook he hit late again? Like, it's an option. You force me here, I'll go there. You force me there, I'll go there. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's what Jokic put on him, man. And so, yeah, he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to get judged every time he gets out there, and he doesn't stop somebody. But you can't stop that man. You can make him work harder, and they did for 2 games in this series, and they won. They made Jokic work harder. He's gotten loose for 3 games because he is what? The best player in the game right now. So a lot of times, be careful how you hear the criticism on guys. And the American ball player, this is a message to an American ball player. Get in the gym, get you some old John Wooden books. Go get you a freaking Pete Maravich video. And get out of these books of these dudes that's got you out there doing taekwondo on the damn basketball court. Okay? With a freaking move. Let's go to read a book and teach you how to get open. Like V cut, L cut, up and out. Catch the ball in your range. Turn, triple threat. And don't be way behind the 3 where you're stepping out of damn bounds all the time. Okay? All these things. When you take your first step on a basketball court, which way is it? You got the ball in your hand, triple threat. Mm-hmm. Where's your first step? Where does it go?
Forward.
Forward. Not backwards. How many times you see during the course of the season?
Every
stepping out of damn bounds.
All the time.
Somebody taught them that. So I don't want to hear it. He's fundamentally whipping our league, and it's embarrassing a lot of our American ball players because we have lost track of the fundamentals of basic basketball, and we're into the beauty of it. The crossover, the spin, the brick. That's how it ends, a brick. Okay? Because you don't work on your shooting. Stop.
That tangent sponsored by X, whatever you want. There you go. I know Shaq disagrees because Shaq straight up to Jokic told him to his face that he didn't think he should have been the MVP, which was just asinine, and the timing of that couldn't have been worse. I don't understand it, but he did do that. He did throw shade at Jokic, and ever since then, it feels like Jokic is just taking it to another level. In the last 3 games, especially. Listen, man, I think it's over tonight. I think the Nuggets are going to take care of this series, and then Dallas winning last night. It looks like they're on track to also win their series, and I'm excited because maybe this time next week we'll be talking about the first game of Denver versus Dallas, and this is 2 teams that I desperately want to see play each other because I feel like they're both playing. Both of them have very few weaknesses. Both of them have tremendous all-around players. Mm-hmm. Both of them have counterparts that can score at a high rate. Both of them have elite athleticism at different positions. Both of them have, or not both of them. I know Dallas can go pretty deep. Denver goes about 6-7 deep. But still, both teams playing at the level that they're playing at right now. Very excited to watch that. I don't know what to expect in the East. We'll see what happens with the Knicks. We'll see what happens when either the Knicks or the Pacers have to play the Celtics, but the Celtics obviously clinching last night and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it'll be an interesting last iteration of the playoffs. But going back to the Shaq point, what was your first reaction on that?
Timing just wasn't good. I understand what Shaq was trying to say. That's reserved for a private conversation. And not immediately after he has just been announced the MVP. Like, I didn't understand that. Shaq has no patience and he has no filter. And I always try to tell, as great as Shaq is, and Shaq is probably the closest thing to Charles in regards to dealing with the media, mm-hmm. and obviously getting the attention of the media and all of that. But he's got to remember he's not Charles.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is Charles. Charles can say crazy stuff, man, and people will laugh and he can get away with it. Now, Shaq can too, but not at the level of Charles. Mm. Like, you can't be him. I'm telling you, you can't. I've seen so many ex-players get on TV and they want to be like Chuck. Draymond's trying to be like Chuck. It's not going to work, Draymond. It's not, man. It's not. You're too surly. You're too mean. Like, Charles, when he says crazy stuff, he doesn't look like he's getting ready to, like, turn into a serial killer. You know? He doesn't. like, you don't know how to take it. Is he serious? Is he funny? I mean, like, you get caught in the middle with Charles, with Shaq and Draymond, you like, you know,
Yeah.
did he say something about my mama? Like, like Charles can actually say, I can't repeat it, but I've heard Charles say stuff to fans in the stands that if I had said it, I would have been arrested. But you know what they did when Charles said it? They laughed. It's true, man. So I just think Shaq was out of bounds with that, man. The timing was just not good.
Yeah.
I don't have a vote anymore because my good friend with the Rockets, he voted for, I think, Yao Ming for MVP or something. He missed half the season. And so the league took all the announcers that were connected to teams' votes away.
Mm.
So I don't vote. But if I had voted, I would have voted for Shea. I think Jokic is the best player in the game. But I would have voted for Shea. Why? Took a young team with the best record in the league. They won 2 out of 3 games against Denver. He was first in the league in steals. The dude averaged over 30 a game. What can you not say about him?
Yeah.
He did all the things you're supposed to do to win an MVP. So I would have voted for him, but I definitely would not have told him on live TV that when he's getting ready to get the trophy, because it's apples and oranges. Jokic is deserving of the MVP. And so why would you question that?
Yeah.
That to me reeks of a little enviousness. It does.
Yeah.
And now he has more than Shaq, you know, and he's making a threat to overtake Shaq, which in my estimation, Shaq will always be, no matter who the center is. And I didn't see a lot of Wilt, but obviously Wilt was the most dominant center ever based on his numbers that he put up. I don't care if guys were 6'8", 6'9", that was their fault. Go talk to the parents about it. It wasn't Wilt's fault. He just showed up and did what he needed to do. I guarantee you, there was a lot of 7-footers walking around back in that day that couldn't play basketball. That's their parents' fault. They didn't put him in the damn gym. Wilt just took advantage of whoever was there. Shaq is the most dominant next to Wilt we will ever see. And I will stay by that. I will give Shaq that. But Jokic has a chance to pass him. And I think it bothers him.
Well, something else might bother him. He might not have a platform to be speaking on anymore, just because it looks like NBC is going to secure the rights to the NBA or the TNT NBA games. So that's listen, that studio show's really good. I like it a lot. I know a lot of people are like, I wish they would talk more ball. There's so many other platforms you can go to listen to like more ball. Like, maybe it's not for everybody, but the levity that they provide in mixing in the basketball, I think is great. But that might be no more because it's going back to NBC, and maybe the NBA on NBC and the whole theme music and the intros that we all got hyped about back in the day.
That.
Man, I hope that does come back, but we'll see. We're going to get out of here, but real quick, I do want to give a shout out to my son, Alex. He's out there. They just lost their game. That's what I was kind of looking down. They just lost their game. And they had a chance to go to the World Series, but they got eliminated.
Really?
And that's the end of his college career. So, love you, bud. Sorry that happened, but I'm proud of you. And
where were they playing?
Keep going. LSU.
Why you didn't tell me you had a kid out there playing?
See, you know about leadership and getting to know your teammates. You just never ask.
Well, you didn't tell. What do you mean? You got to tell me first so I can now start to ask questions. I would have been. It was on TV.
It was streaming online.
And you didn't even tell me. See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, people. Right there's an example. Because there's no way if I had known his son was playing that I would not have recorded it or watched it. But he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's the kind of stuff you want to teach young
Stop
people.
hijacking my sentimental moment, EJ. Damn it.
I want you to forget about it. I'm helping you. You're sad now. I don't want you to cry on live podcast.
No, we're good. We're good.
But that's but they got all the way to the final?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this would have been a third trip to the World Series in 4 years.
Man, okay, how did he do in the World Series?
Well, shit, the first year they went, he basically kept them alive in the elimination game. They pitched 8 innings and gave up 1 run.
So
Like,
does
he
he
was
have
fantastic.
MLB in his future?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I think
What's his fastball?
He wants to coach.
What's his
Oh,
fastball?
it's not very high. It's like 84, 85.
Kyle Hendricks' fastball is 85. He's been in the league 20 years.
He's one of those
driving me nuts, too.
He's one of those Greg Maddux type pitchers, just
Greg Maddux.
Yeah. He wants to coach, so he's going to get into coaching.
Tell him to develop a knuckleball. I can teach him how to do a knuckleball, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
They don't have any knuckleball pitchers in baseball anymore.
Okay.
So I'll look, what's his name again?
Alex.
Oh, you laughing. I was a tremendous pitcher in baseball.
I'm not saying you weren't.
You better get back. And I had a fastball, but I threw all off speed. That's all I threw was off speed. And you would think my coach would tell me, Eddie, at that young age, you should be careful throwing off speed stuff all the time. Now I can't even catch a fork because, he messed my rotator up.
Yeah.
I can still shoot it, but I can't catch. I can't throw. You know what I'm saying? I used to play quarterback and all of that.
What did you eat this morning for breakfast, man? You're on a different
Come
level.
to work, man. I just came to work, dude. Hey, that's another thing with leadership. Go to work. I came to work, man. I'm tired. I'm only on 5 hours sleep. I was up playing Red Alert.
What time did you?
1 o'clock.
What time did you show up for
playing
work?
Red Alert. So people know, Red Alert, one of the best computer games ever. I played it all the time. I play Yuri's Revenge all the time now.
All right.
Old school war game on computer. Top notch.
Thank you all for joining us today. You can follow him on the computer somewhere.
Follow me on Madden right now.
That's right. Yeah. We're gonna start this league up again, so that'll be fun. Thank you all for joining us. But before we go, we do have some super chats that I completely forgot about once again. Psycho Blue, my bad. We had to get to these. Given Coach Bud's history of having a lot of say on his roster, do you think there will be any disconnect with him and the front office like there reportedly has been with Vogel and his preferences?
No. The interview process probably smoothed that over.
You think so?
Oh, in the interview process, that's your time to say, look, okay, I need this.
I have zero faith that that's going to happen.
They're going to ask. They ask the coach, what does he need? What does he want? Well, he's changing his whole assistant staff.
How many times do we have to see
No.
free agents that get bought out and come over here and don't get a lick of playing time because, according to what we see, there's a disconnect?
Well, that disconnect is going to stop because you have a new owner that has not been able to institute everything in the organization that he wants to. It's not going to stop. Like, you can't come in and all of a sudden do it. It takes time. And Matt Ishbia, as he continues to spend time around everyone and be here, I'm sure he's going to continue to add and subtract. Could be me subtract, and, you just never know, right? So everybody's got to be on their P's and Q's.
I will say this, and I respect James Jones, and I like him as an individual. I think he's got some more to prove, and I feel like he's got some work to do to really rectify this situation, because I don't think that what has happened in the last couple of years has been taken advantage of or well suited for this franchise.
And if he doesn't, then that's a problem. And I would like to think that he doesn't think that way. Everybody has to look in the mirror, man.
Yeah.
Everybody. I look in the mirror all the time.
KD,
love what I see.
KD being compared to TC is interesting, given TC is considered the prototype of the player profile that best describes KD and his game. That's true. Didn't we have some from last week too, Eric? Oh, you texted them to me. Okay. Psycho Blue, I do apologize. Here we go. Here are yours from last week. One, Bickley guitar riff intensifies. Everyone wants to leave. Fire Brimstone. I do believe that was about, the Suns and where they're at. I also agree discretion is the better part of valor. No need to do anything rash before the lemon dance of June, where all the other teams compare their problems with each other, looking for solutions. Did we feel good about the Nuggets possibly getting swept about the Minnesota Timberwolves last week? Clearly, we don't give a shit anymore. And then I'm imagining current day EJ catch and shoot being like Forrest Gump being handed the ball before running the kick return. And on that note, thank you all for joining us. Cue the music this time, Eric. For real.
Later. That's
Appreciate
on time.
y'all. Till next time.
That's on time.
Peace.